service to all of you. We are reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 12, the cleansing of the Gundicha temple, text 136. But before we start, we should offer obeisances and pranam mantra. So I will chant the pranam mantra, and if you all want to chant along with me, please, you are welcome. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadhati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padanu Sahagana Sri Lalita Sri Vishakhavitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Sri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasati Gaur Bhaktinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So it looks like from this text 136, now they are at the Lord Nrsimhadev temple. And this at present, even if you go to Jagannath Puri, before the Gundicha temple, there is a Nrsimhadev temple is still there, and Nrsimhadev deity is still at present is still there. So if you go in case to Jagannath Puri, please have a darshan of that Lord Nrsimhadev. Same Nrsimhadev which was Lord Chaitanya's time were there. Okay, so who wants to read, I guess, text 136?
You want to speak a couple of minutes about importance of reading Prabhupada's books?
Oh, well, yes. Well, Srila Prabhupada has given us the full knowledge, and as we read more and more Srila Prabhupada's books, more and more we become, our intelligence fixed up, our consciousness fixed up, and we don't waver. But if you don't have a knowledge of Prabhupada's books, which is he has given a vast knowledge, if you don't do that, then what happens? We can waver in our spiritual life. So besides chanting Hare Krishna, reading a book of Srila Prabhupada mostly, of course, who am I? I haven't read all the books yet. Still, I'm in 45 years in this council. I haven't read the whole thing. And I'm still trying myself. I have heard so much, but I was a lazy bum. So let's put it that way. Anyhow, but it's important that to read Srila Prabhupada books, definitely.
But I have a question.
Okay.
When you said reading Prabhupada books, is there a certain books you read first and then later on? Is there?
Well, we start with Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, like that. The base thing is discussion. To me, it's personal, individual is personally. To me, base thing is to have a group and discuss. Then it bring out different points. Because this knowledge is vast. Is this a vast knowledge to have 60, 70 books to read, Srila Prabhupada's books? So discussion is, to me, personally, I like to have discussion, because everybody brings out their own realization when we discuss. And it's good because it's a broad knowledge. It's not like black and white. This Srila Prabhupada said, this is it. It's not like that. And that's why I like discuss. Anyhow, so it's like in the Kram, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Chaitanya Charitamrita. But, if you read Chaitanya, it's okay. It's not like we are breaking any rules, but individual. Anything else?
So what do you think is the main difference between, when we call this week as Shravanam week, but what is the main difference between hearing lectures or hearing somebody give their realization about the scriptures they have read and us reading Prabhupada's books by ourselves?
Well, hearing, see, some people have difficulty reading. I mean, I can concentrate half an hour, 45 minutes, that's about it, reading. Then I have to do something else. Because I'm, it's a person depend. Persons who are Brahmana, who are in mode of goodness, they can sit down 5-6 hours and read constantly. So, passionate persons cannot do that. It's difficult because mind is going to waver around, you see. So that's why, to me personally, like the discussion, because when a discussion is there, then my mind has to concentrate. See? My mind has to come up with, think what other person is saying, particularly whatever we are reading. And then my mind, I have to also come up with, I also have to say what I have realized. Otherwise, I can go to sleep while I'm reading. More than 1 hour, I will fall asleep. So it's individual. Unless I break down, read for half an hour, do think about. Because reading is there, but beside reading, there is also smaranam. You see. Otherwise, reading can go from one year to go out another year. I read it's completely. Sometimes we read, how many slokas in this chapter? Or how long is going to take time? Isn't it? We think that way. It's like when we chant Hare Krishna mantra 16 rounds. How long is it going to take? 2 hours? Okay, in 1 hour, I'm going to chant 8 rounds. Oh, I finish 8 rounds, another 8 rounds, 1 hour. Well, am I connecting with Krishna with that one? What is the purpose of chanting Hare Krishna? Purpose of chanting Hare Krishna is connecting with Krishna. If someone, if the two lovers are, I'm going aboard, I think, but I think this is an important point. If two lovers are sitting together, they met, okay, and they are talking with each other, and the one lover says, oh, he keep looking his watch and have to go. What other lover would think? That this guy has the watch, timing is important, or meeting, or we are talking here, relations. So same thing in a chanting, when we chanting Hare Krishna, we are calling out to Krishna. And if I think, and this is my habit, I'm not trying to say anybody else, but habit is there. Habit is there. Oh, 16 rounds, 2 hours. That means in 1 hour I have to complete 8 rounds. Doesn't matter how I complete. You think like that, but it's not that way. Because when we're calling out, when chanting Hare Krishna, we are calling out is Krishna. Krishna is there. We are calling out to him. We chant. Purpose of chanting is building the relationship with Krishna. And this is the one of the habit. I mean, I can say I have it, so I have to know how to, because the tendency is there. Okay, 16 rounds, 2.5 hours. That's it, done. You see.
Yes, you're right.
We are doing it. This is good. I'm not saying it. This is good. At least we are doing it. But ultimately, it is the point where we want to come to where don't see the timing. Is how am I hearing it, and take time. Yeah, that's why Srila Prabhupada is hearing, because we calling out to Krishna. Krishna is present in the name. I hope that answers.
I think that example you gave about the lovers is a very good example.
Yeah. Because I mean, and besides that, maybe when you're calling out to Krishna, we are chanting, means Krishna is there, and my mind is, and we our mind run around somewhere else. Then how is Krishna is going to reciprocate with me?
That's always a problem.
Yeah, but that's why we have to bring the mind back to Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's why we say.
Yeah, for me, I personally think of what I have to do after 2 hours.
Well,
I plan my schedule after 2 hours.
Yes, but see, that's why what I do is I keep the paper and a pen. Before I start chanting, I write down everything what need to be done. And during my chanting, if something comes and need to be done, I just write on a piece of paper and leave it there. Don't bother about it. You see.
All right.
Okay.
So you want to start reading?
Gopal can read.
Yeah, you're okay with that?
Yes. I wanna hear him.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also cleansed the Nrsimha temple inside and outside. Finally, he rested a few minutes, then began dancing.
Read the fourth one.
The purport. The Nrsimha temple is a nice temple just outside the Gundicha temple. In this temple, there is a great festival on the day of Nrsimha Chaturdasi. There is also a Nrsimha temple at Navadvipa, where the same festival is observed as described by Murari Gupta in his book Chaitanya Charita.
Yeah, so as I said, this when you go to Puri, please visit. When you go to Puri and you go to the Gundiraj temple, outside the Gundiraj temple, Nrsimha temple is still there, and the same deity is there still. So you should sometimes, in case if you go to Jagannath Puri, please have a darshan of that Nrsimha Dev.
Yeah. Go look.
All around Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees perform congregational chanting. The Lord, just like a maddened lion, danced in the middle.
Okay.
As usual, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced, there was perspiration, trembling, fading, tears. Why is there a comma bit? Okay. Jubilation and roaring. Indeed, the tears from his eyes washed his body and those before him.
So because Lord, here is Lord himself. He's chanting and dancing. And remember, their chanting and dancing is not for like we do in the temple, half an hour, 45 minutes. It goes on for hours and hours and hours and hours. It goes on long time. They are so absorbed. And I mean, Lord is there. You know, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Advaita, everybody is there. So it's like the great personalities are there here. And everybody is in ecstasy. And he has like, when he's chanting, he has like 7 or 8 mridanga players. So the different kartas, mridanga players, all are there. And it's a big chanting. And it's like go on for a long time because it's a spiritual ecstasy. That's what he is mentioning here. Okay.
In this
Whoever you want to assign to read someone else, please you work out that. Okay?
Yes, I will do that. Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu washed the bodies of all the devotees with the tears from his eyes. The tears poured like the rains in the month of Shravana.
I imagine this is the Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Anya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Radha Krishna. And imagine the tears coming from the none other than Radha Krishna. Their tears are on all the bodies of the devotees. Come on, that is like pure purification of the. Of course, these all are associates of Lord Chaitanya has come here, but from past times. But you can see, I mean, how the tears coming from the body. And of course, there is other pastimes in Krishna Lila, but I think we will talk some other time.
Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
All right. So now Anant Sesha Prabhu will read, and then Leeleshwari, can you be ready? And then after Leeleshwari, can Sankalpa be ready? Okay,
The sky was filled with great and loud chanting of Sankirtana, and the earth shook from the jumping and dancing of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always liked the loud chanting of Sarup Damodar. Therefore, when Sarup Damodar sang, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and jumped high in jubilation. The Lord thus chanted and danced for some time. Finally, understanding the circumstances, he stopped. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then ordered Sri Gopal, the son of Advaita Acharya, to dance. While dancing in ecstatic love, Sri Gopal fainted and fell to the ground unconscious. When Sri Gopal fainted, Advaita Acharya hastily took him upon his lap. Seeing that he was not breathing, he became very much agitated. Advaita Acharya and others began to chant the holy name of Lord Narasimha and sprinkle water. The roaring of the chant was so great that it seemed to shake the entire universe.
Now, because this is the Lord, and the actually Lord is dancing on the earth. Earth is very happy. Earth is very happy that the Lord here himself has his lotus feet on me, and Lord is dancing. And it is mentioned here also that earth is shaking completely. She's in ecstasy because Lord is here. See, this is the kirtan. This is the kirtan, real kirtan. Okay, go ahead.
Leeleshwari, you want to continue?
When the boy did not regain consciousness after some time, Advaita Acharya and other devotees began to cry. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu placed his hand on the chest of Sri Gopal and said loudly, "Gopal, stand up." As soon as Gopal heard the voice of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he immediately came to his senses. All the devotees then began to dance, chanting the holy name of Hari. This incident has been described in detail by Vrindavan Das Thakura. Therefore, I have described it only in brief.
Yeah,
This is a matter of...
Go ahead, read the purport and I will talk.
This is a matter of etiquette. If a previous Acharya has already written about something, there is no need to repeat it for personal sense gratification or to outdo the previous Acharya. Unless there is some definite improvement, one should not repeat.
Yeah, so see Vrindavan Das Thakur has written the Chaitanya Bhagavat, and Chaitanya Bhagavat has all the Lord Chaitanya's child Bal Lila pastimes. And he's described, Vrindavan Das Thakur has described all these Bal Lila pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. That's why we see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are not much Lord Chaitanya's Bal Lila pastime, because Vrindavan Das Thakur all described. So that is the Srila Prabhupada is writing as a Vaishnava etiquette, that if someone has already done something, I should not, and they are also coming in line of disciplic succession, previous acharyas, so I should not do something which is already done by them. That's why he is writing. And you can see here also that Lord Chaitanya himself is a Lord himself. Sri Krishna, as I said, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Yanya. So here, Lord is just by touching his hand, because Lord super soul within the heart of Gopal and super soul right here standing outside. So Lord just was touching his hand, and just as Gopal is becoming conscious. Same thing happened, and devotees can do the same thing happen in the past time. We know that in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Chitraketu, Chitraketu's son name was Harshashoka, right? And he had so many wives, and he got a son, but his name was Harshashoka by the benediction of Angira Rishi. And then all the wives of Chitraketu gave the poison to this son, Harsashoka, and Harsashoka died. He was young. So Chitraketu was very upset, and he was lamenting. And finally, Narad Muni and Angira Rishi brought Narad Muni with him. And Narad Muni, they saw that the Chitraketu was completely devastated, because he was expecting, his point was that how my kingdom is going to run. And that's why he wanted to have a son. He had more than 10,000 wives or something. I don't know exactly how much figure. And they had no son. So finally he got this son, and then son is given a poison, he died. So he was lamenting. The queen who had given the son, she was lamenting. So finally Angira is, Narad Muni or Angira is putting the hand on this boy, and they are waking up the boy. And when the boy is waking up, he says, "Which father, mother are you talking about? I have so many father and mother in my lives." So say here, I mean, he's not here saying that, but what I'm saying, coming to the point, is that here is Lord himself, so he's touching his heart, and just boy is getting it. Okay, and further, any question or further, please?
Sankalpa Mataji, can you read next?
Okay.
All right.
After taking rest, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the devotees departed to take their baths. After bathing, the Lord stood on the bank of the lake and put on dry garments. After offering obeisances to Lord Nishingadev, whose temple was nearby, the Lord entered a garden. In the garden, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat down with the other devotees. Vaninath Roy then came and brought all kinds of Mahaprasadam.
That Lord, what is Lord Chaitanya's movement? Chanting, dancing, and fishing. That's what Lord Chaitanya. That's what we supposed to do in Hare Krishna movement. Chanting, dancing, and fishing. That's it. Enjoy the prasadam. Okay.
You bet, Bhadra Prabhu.
Go ahead.
Kashi Mishra and Tulasi, the superintendent of the temple, brought as much prasadam as 500 men could eat. Seeing the large quantity of prasadam, which consisted of rice, cakes, sweet rice, and a variety of vegetables, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very satisfied.
It sounds like Bhadra Prabhu's Radhayatra feast.
We should have, isn't it? This our religion is a kitchen religion. It's a kitchen religion. Without the prasad, the Mahaprasad is our chanting is not over. Our process is not finished, completed. It's completed after having Mahaprasad.
It seems in those times they had better digestion.
Definitely.
You know how devotees, in our society, they complain about digestive issues if they eat Mahaprasadam every day.
That's also true. but at the same time, Mataji, at that time, they were also performing the kirtan for longer hours.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and of course, it was also made in a pure ghee. That's another thing.
Yes, purity.
So, there are many factors.
Right. Okay. Among the devotees present with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were Paramananda Puri, Brahmananda Bharati, Advaita Acharya, and Nityananda Prabhu. Acharya Ratna, Acharya Nidhi, Srivas Thakur Gadada Pandit Shankar, Nandan Acharya, Raghava Pandit, and Vakreshwari were also present. Receiving the permission of the Lord, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya sat down. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the devotees sat on the raised wooden seats.
Okay. So Lileshwari, are you ready? Your family is ready to read?
Yeah.
Now all these personalities, they are the eternal associates of Lord Chaitanya, you see, and they have come here to assist the Lord Chaitanya in his pastimes. All of these associates, and they are great personalities. They are great personalities. Okay, go ahead.
In this way, all the devotees sat down to take their lunch in consecutive lines, one beside the other. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was repeatedly calling Haridasa, Haridasa, and at that time Haridasa, standing at a distance, spoke as follows. Haridasa Thakura said, "Let Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu take his lunch with the devotees. Since I am abominable, I cannot sit down among you."
Now consider this the etiquette Haridas Thakur has. And we know that Haridas Thakur didn't go enter in the temple of Jagannath Puri, Jagannath temple. He would just have a darshan of the Sudarshan Chakra every day. He would have darshan. And of course, he was so great personally, the Lord Chaitanya was bringing the lunch himself personally. He would bring Jagannath Prasadam from the Jagannath temple to him to give to Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur, same as Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami, they all first perform the etiquette, like, okay, you don't want this temple, it's fine. You'll have the, because, I mean, they knew that Lord Chaitanya is none other than Lord Jagannath. Lord Chaitanya is Lord Jagannath. So for them, Lord Chaitanya's darshan is enough, because Lord Jagannath himself, you say. So Haridas Thakur was, you all take, and then I'm sure I will, that's why he's saying here, that I should not, because, there are other great personalities there. Of course, they all want Haridas Thakur to be with them. But then there is other also personalities are there. So Haridas Thakur is saying, no, you just all have it, prasadam, we will stay at Krishna. That's why he's saying. Go ahead.
Govinda will give me prasadam later, outside the door. Understanding his mind, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not call him again. Swarup Damodara Goswami, Jagadananda, Damodara Pandita, Kashishwara, Gopinatha, Vaninatha, and Shankara distributed prasadam, and the devotees chanted the holy names at intervals.
This is the way they take prasad. They are honoring prasad. That is most important. It's like when Srila Prabhupada sit down to take prasad, he's honoring the prasad. Prasadam is none other than Krishna. And every time they are eating, they are calling out to Krishna, they are calling out to Radha. See? And at every interval, they are all chanting Hare Krishna or calling out, and then again they eat. So that's what they are honoring. They are not, because my tendency is, I'm hungry, so eat, you say. But the whole point is that we have to honor prasadam. It's none other than Krishna. It's mercy
Yeah,
of
we'll be looking around seeing if we got everything on the plate,
Okay. And here it says, Lord Chaitanya knew which item liked who. He's saying in the next verse, he will read. So he is giving, he knows, because he's Lord, he's omnipotent, omniscient, he knows. So he is telling them to serve this prasad, Anil Prabhu likes a sweet rice, so just give him sweet rice. Like that. Here, okay, go ahead.
Lord Krishna had previously taken his lunch in the forest, and that very pastime was remembered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just by remembering the pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was agitated by ecstatic love. But considering the time and circumstance, he remained somewhat patient.
Yeah, so this is important, because as we said, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Yanya. So as soon as Lord Chaitanya would have the situation, because he was Krishna, but he was in the mood of Radharani, right? Radharani. So whenever he even in the river, he to go take a bath, he would feel like he would imagine, he would think like this is Jamuna river, because he's mood of Radharani and he's remembering all the pastime which he had performed with Radharani in Vrindavan. You see, so that's his mood is. So that's why he got into. That's why when he went in the temple, when he went first time, he went in Jagannath temple. Did he see Lord Jagannath? No, he saw Lord Jagannath as Shyam Sundar. If you read his previously, he didn't see Lord Jagannath as Lord Jagannath. He saw as a Shyam Sundar, and that's why he is in the mood of Radharani, and that's why he wanted to hug Jagannath, because he was seeing as Shyam Sundar, not Jagannath, because that was his mood. You see, so whenever he came to this situation, he would remind him of the past time he had performed, and he get into ecstasy. But sometimes he had to control himself. He had to say, "This is not the." He had to. This Leela Shakti had to remind him. You see, he remind him that no, this is not the time. Okay.
Continue reading, Matji.
You can
Sri
read 2 more verses and then Arvind will read. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "You can give me the ordinary vegetable known as lapraha vyanjana, and you may deliver to all the devotees better preparations like cakes, sweet rice, and amrita gutika." Purport. Lapra vyanjana is a combination of several green vegetables all mixed together. It is often mixed with rice and delivered to poor men. Amrita gutika is a preparation of thick puri mixed with condensed milk. It is also known as Amrita Rasavali.
I'm sure in Mayapur they must be preparing they still must be preparing these preparations, I'm sure.
But Prabhu, how come we don't have these preparations for Rath Yatra feast?
Well, if we can find out how to make it, we should have it. Why not? Why not? Yes. If we get all those vegetables we are described here in America, right? So
First, we born again to
you find out all the ingredients of all these 2 preparations, and let's do it for next Rath Yatra.
I have to ask
Okay.
Prana Govinda Prabhu probably.
Well, that's your homework now.
Okay.
Since Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is omniscient, he knew what types of preparations each person liked. He then had Swarup Damodara deliver these preparations to each devotee to his full satisfaction.
Mhm.
Arvind, you want to continue?
Yeah. Jagadananda went to distribute prasadam, and suddenly he placed all the first-class preparations on the plate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When such nice prasadam was put on the plate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord was outwardly very angry. Nonetheless, when the preparations were placed on his plate, sometimes by tricks and sometimes by force, the Lord was satisfied.
Because they want to serve the Lord. They want to give everything to the Lord, offer to the Lord first. Okay.
When the food was thus delivered, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looked at it for some time. Being afraid of Jagadananda, he finally ate something. The Lord knew that if he did not eat the food offered by Jagadananda, Jagadananda would certainly fast. Being afraid of this, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ate some of the prasadam he offered.
So Lord Chaitanya had always with individual, he had relationship with individual devotee. I think previously when there was someone who Damodar Pandit, it was talked about Damodar Pandit, right? It was Damodar Pandit when Dhruv Maharaj was here 2-3 days ago. So Lord Chaitanya had individual relationship with individual, and they would sometimes get not angry at Lord Chaitanya, but they would get upset or whatever. Lord Chaitanya knew, so he didn't want to get them upset. So he would honor. Okay, I will take it. I will take it. Okay. Go ahead.
Sarup Damodar Goswami then brought some excellent sweetmeats and, standing before the Lord, offered them to him. Sarup Damodar Goswami then said, "Just take a little of this Mahaprasad and see how it is that Lord Jagannath has accepted it." Upon saying this, Sarup Damodar Goswami placed some food before the Lord, and the Lord, out of affection, ate it.
This is the relationship. This is the relationship between Lord and his devotee. Lord, devotee says, Lord accepts it.
Swarup Damodar and Jagadananda again and again offered the Lord some food. Thus they behaved affectionately with the Lord. This was very, very uncommon. The Lord made Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya sit on his left side, and when Sarvabhauma saw the behavior of Swarup Damodar and Jagadananda, he smiled. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also wanted to offer Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya first-class food. Therefore, out of affection, he had the servers put first-class food on his plate again and again.
Okay.
And this is common. Well, it's common that when it is like when we take prasadam with some Maharaj or sannyasi, and this is the experience we have, when we take prasad, they usually want to make sure that persons, sannyasi usually feel that the persons who are next to them, they want to make sure they also receive all the preparations. I have seen this all the time when we sit down with sannyasis. They want to make sure they also receive everything. Because I'm sorry, I'm going to tell straightforward. Because sometimes disciple has a tendency, and I've seen this again, they would just give their Guru Maharaj everything, and other devotees next to them are just sitting, and other devotees sitting next to them, they keep watching what's happening. Prabhu, I'm also sitting here next to you. It happens, really. But then the Maharaj is so expert. He said, no, give. They all are here, give them to also.
Prabhu, my wife does that all the time when she serves Guru Maharaj.
Well, no, it is true, it happens. But the Maharaj is only so expert that they say, no, you have to give everybody. What can you do?
Okay, so
It's time.
I can read 2 or 3 verses, and then you tell me what to do, because it's already past 7 o'clock. It's actually 7:10, and so
Yeah,
you can...
I don't mind if you want to go on till 10 o'clock. I will go on, because this is a nectar. I'm not going to stop it. Up to you.
Yeah, we're talking about prasadam. Let's go on.
So, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also wanted to offer Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya first-class food. Therefore, out of affection, he had the servers put first-class food on his plate again and again. I think Gopinath Acharya also brought first-class food and offered it to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya while speaking sweet words. After serving the Bhattacharya with first-class prasadam, Gopinath Acharya said, just consider what the Bhattacharya's previous mundane behavior was. Just consider how at present he is enjoying transcendental bliss.
Yeah, so the purport, Sarva Bhattacharya he had come out with the Mayavadi impersonal philosophy accepted. And he is the incarnation of Brihaspati. He's a very learned personality. And how Lord Chaitanya completely changed him. That's what here Srila Prabhupada is. Anyhow, purport Srila Prabhupada will say anyhow. Go ahead.
Purport. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was previously a Smartha Brahmana, that is, one who strictly follows the Vedic principles on the mundane platform. On the mundane platform, one cannot believe that prasadam is transcendental, that Govinda is the original form of Supreme Personality of Godhead, or that a Vaishnava is a liberated person. These transcendental considerations are out of the ordinary Vedic scholars' jurisdiction. Most Vedic scholars are called Vedantists. These so-called followers of Vedanta philosophy consider the absolute truth to be impersonal. They also believe that a person born in a particular caste cannot change his caste until he dies or takes rebirth. The Smarta Brahmanas also reject the fact that Mahaprasadam, food offered to the deity, is transcendental and materially uncontaminated. Originally, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was subjected to all the rules and regulations of the Vedic principles on the mundane platform. Now, Gopinath Acharya pointed out how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had been converted by the causeless mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Being converted, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya partook of prasadam with the Vaishnavas. Indeed, he sat by the side of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So imagine, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he had imbibed the impersonal philosophy. That means first of all, how can you offer the food to the impersonal Lord? How can you offer it? Lord has no form, how can you offer it? So if that is the case, then whatever is offered, prasadam is not considered transcendental. That was his understanding. Understanding was there. And then on top of that, they don't believe that anybody can become a Vaishnava. They believe that the persons who are born in the Brahmana, they are the only Brahmana. Others are Sudra, they stay Sudra. And that's why Srila Prabhupada is writing in this purport. Then when the devotees, when the Srila Prabhupada gave initiation, Brahman initiation to all the Western devotees and everybody else, then they would sometimes, when they are in India, the Brahmanas or the pujaris of the temple, they would criticize them. And they would say that, oh, you have taken the Brahman initiation, now you're doing deity worship. So next, you have to take a next birth, you will take a Brahmana, you will born as a Brahmana, and you will really do the deity worship. They used to tell the devotees. Then they would tell to Srila Prabhupada. And what Srila Prabhupada would say, remember? I'm paraphrasing what Srila Prabhupada, I don't know exactly. I cannot say exactly, but Srila Prabhupada used to tell that Brahmana who is a pujari, tell that next birth you will have to take a birth in the ISKCON and you will have to become pujari again to the service. And I will go back to God. So this is the way the Brahmanas were thinking. So this was going on at that time. That's why Srila Prabhupada is writing in the purport here. He was facing this situation. And it was Lord was so kind to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who is the incarnation of Brihaspati. He was the greatest Vedantist. He was not ordinary person, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He was actually, and on top of that, he was managing the Jagannath temple. And he would go in Jagannath temple through the tunnel. There was a tunnel from his house. He doesn't have to go on the road.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that tunnel is still probably there because we went to that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house in Jagannath Puri and they showed us. But of course, his tunnel might be not there, I don't know. But that's what they told us. There was a tunnel and he'd go through that tunnel to go to Jagannath temple from his house. So he was not an ordinary person, but Lord Chaitanya's mercy is so powerful. The Lord Chaitanya changed. And that's why with Srila Prabhupada Pranam Mantra, what we say? Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desata. Because whole material world is filled with voidism and impersonalism. I mean, I'm impersonal. Impersonal tendencies are there. She's still there. But when we do the worship and we follow Srila Prabhupada, then gradually come to understand that this deity, which is I have in the home or in the temple, they are not statues. They are Lord themselves. They are Lords. They are hearing me. They are hearing my prayers. When I'm praying, they are hearing me. When I go to temple, we pray to the Lord. Lord is hearing me because they are there. And we are so fortunate that Krishna is so kind. I'm sorry, I'm going on and on. Krishna is so kind that he is come in the little form, and he is making himself an Archvidra little form, so we are able to worship him. And we establish a relationship. That's why Pujari has a very strong relationship with the Lord. Ask Madanitai Priya. For 18, 19 years, she is doing the service of the Pujari. service. I mean, it is glorious that 18, 90 years is going on. And she has very close relationship with the Radha Shyam Sundar. Because,
more than 20 years. So.
Yeah. So that is the relationship. So that's why even in our home deity also, we build up relations with the home deity. Besides the temple deities, we build up relations with the home deities by serving them and by by praying to them. Any problem? See? Any so much any difficulty comes, we just go in front of the deities. We pray. My Lord, please, you guide me. What should I do? So this is Lord Chaitanya. Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. So Leeleshwari and Sankalpa, we are the only ones here. Would you like to go one more round of reading, or what do you want to do? Otherwise, do you want to stop, or are you going to continue?
I can read if you like. I can read.
All right.
We can go one more round, Mother.
Go ahead, Bataji.
Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya replied to Gopinathacharya, I was simply a less intelligent logician, but by your grace I have received this opulence of perfection. But for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya continued, who is so merciful? He has converted a crow into a Garuda. Who could be so merciful?
Namo Mahabhaddanyaya, isn't it? Go ahead.
Yes. In the association of the jackals known as logicians, I simply continued to bark a resounding boo boo. Now from the same mouth, I'm chanting the holy names Krishna and Hari.
And this has happened to us, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
I mean, I was interested in all these Indian films and singing those songs and all these things. We are doing it, right? And now we are now somehow by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we are able to sing all Bhaktivinoda Bhajan, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Bhajan, and chanting Hare Krishna and do the Kirtan. This is by their mercy. Same Shravanam Bhattacharya is saying here. Okay.
Whereas I once associated with the disciples of logic or non-devotees, I am now merged in the waves of the nectarian ocean of the association of devotees. Purport. As Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains, the word Bahimukha refers to a person who is very busy tasting material enjoyment. Such a person always poses himself as an enjoyer of the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Being attracted by external opulence, the non-devotee always forgets his intimate relationship with Krishna. Such a person does not like the idea of becoming Krishna conscious.
That's why it says that the material and the material advancement and spiritual advancement doesn't go together, isn't it? Doesn't go together. Material is opposite. That doesn't mean we become poor. That's not the point. Devotees are also millionaire. They can become millionaire. But the whole point is that whatever I have is the mercy of the Lord, and I should use in the service of the Lord. This is given. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings it. Manaso deho joka chumor aripalotuma pade nanda kishore. That's what Srila Prabhupada mentioned. Go ahead.
Yeah. Such a person does not like the idea of becoming Krishna conscious. This is explained by Srila Prahlad Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam 7:530-31. Atyana Krishna Parata Svatam Vamito Vipatita Griya Ratanam Anantagopya Vishatam Tamishram Panapunas punapunasravita Shravanam natevidu svatagatim hi Vishnum Turashayaye bahya atamanina andayatandai upaniyamanas te pisha tantuyam udam nibada. Materialists who are overly attracted to the material body, material world, and material enjoyment, who cannot control the material senses, are carried to the darkest regions of material existence. Such people cannot become Krishna conscious, either by themselves or by congregational effort.
So
Such people.
This is he's telling, Prahlad Maharaj is telling to his father. His father had everything, but he cannot control his senses, isn't it? He had everything, all the way up to the heaven he had acquired. But he cannot, he control. This is what Lord, his son, Prahlad Maharaj, his son is telling to his father, king of the demon, he would say. He would not call out his father as a father. He would say, he would call him the king of the demon. Cannot control his senses. And that's what Shlapa here is, he's saying, Prahlad Maharaj. And these two verses are very important verses. Anyhow, go ahead.
Such people cannot become Krishna conscious either by themselves or by congregational effort. Such people do not understand that the goal of life for a human being is to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. A human life is especially meant for this purpose, and one has to go through all kinds of penances and austerities and set aside the propensity for sense gratification.
So this is a voluntary. Austerity is there, but it's voluntary. Today I was hearing Srila Prabhupada was saying that if someone has a smoking habit, so he has to, Srila Prabhupada can say, but it is individually has to voluntarily decide that this is, I should give up, I should not do it. And that is austerity. That's what the austerity is for that person particularly. So individual has a different austerities they have to go through, because everybody has some anartha within the heart, and every individual anartha, everybody individual know which anartha is within my heart, and I have to work on that anartha. And what should I do? I have to be careful to not get into that, stimulate that anartha. So individual has to decide what anartha is prominent. And the Maya is so strong, the Maya pinches right at that anartha. She pinches individually. And that's where, if we are strong enough, if we have association of devotees, and if we are strong enough by the association of devotees and by chanting holy name, we can come to understand, okay, time is coming here. This anartha, Maya is tricking me here, or this is pinching me, so I have to be careful. That's what here is saying. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Materialists always remain blind because they are always guided by blind rascals. A materialistic person considers himself free to act as he likes. He does not know that he is rigidly controlled by the stringent laws of nature, nor does he know that he has to transmigrate from one body to another and perpetually rot in material existence. Such rascals and foolish people are lured by the prayers of their foolish leaders for sense gratification, and they cannot understand what is meant by Krishna consciousness.
Right, because this is what is Krishna consciousness is like the river is flowing in this direction, and Krishna consciousness we are flowing in other direction. That's what it is. Material world is the more material advancement, more everything. But we are going against, means not the We are not in, it's not that you don't make material advancement. The point is that use in the service of the Lord. That's what Rupa Goswami had given us in this material, right? Everything just like this all the technology. We are using this Zoom in the service of the Lord. This is the real use. This is the real use of the Zoom. To talk about Krishna, hearing about Krishna. So it's glorious in one sense, but it is used, somehow or other it is used, it is misused by materialists.
I have a question.
Okay.
You said material, so if water does not come in our pipe, we start getting uncomfortable. So we look for comforts in our life. So is that against Krishna consciousness?
I'm sorry, can you repeat again? I didn't hear you.
We look for comforts in our daily life, little bit of this and that, you know. So is that going against Krishna consciousness? Like
no, it's not. It's not. We are Krishna consciousness. That does not mean that I have to just completely just, even though I'm not able to do it, I have to just force that is not the point. That's not. We need some comfortable situation. Everybody needs it. According to they are brought up, and it's understood. But the main point is changing in the consciousness. You say, if materialistic, if he doesn't receive things what he does, then he will get so upset. He will get so angry. He will not able to even eat. He will not able to sleep. Right? We have seen this. But in devotee's case, we need some facility because I wanna take care of my body. And what is this body? Body is a temple. And what I'm gonna use this body for what? In service of the Lord. Right? That's why Srila Prabhupada said, first is the health, second is the chanting, third is the service. So the health, to keep the body health is important. Is important. Because this body is we want to use. As we live longer, they will be serve longer to Lord. So yeah, we need certain facility. We are not Goswamis. I mean, I'm telling for myself, I'm not a Goswami. I'm just gonna live in the jungle, in Vrindavan jungle, somewhere in the hut. No, that's not gonna suit me. When the heat or cold comes, I will need, and this is I'm particularly talking about myself. When the heat comes, I will need air condition, and when cold comes, I will need heater. Otherwise, my mind will be everywhere. I was just thinking of this, instead of chanting, I was thinking of those things, isn't it? So I need, but what I'm saying is not opulent, but basic necessity. I need it so that I can continue my devotional service. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
One thing, Bhadra Prabhu, I wanted to just comment that Prabhupada never made such a big point about extra austerities, physical austerities, you know. He never made that point. He wanted us to, you know, take care of ourselves and then, you know, be in a position to serve optimal, to be in the optimum position that we can serve the mission, which is so important.
Yes. I mean, of course, it is glorious that this Srila Prabhupada disciple did it. They are gone through so difficulties. We have to be, when we hear what difficulties they are gone through to please their Guru Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, and they had so much love. All the Srila Prabhupada disciples have so much love for Prabhupada. And they are gone through the more difficulties because Srila Prabhupada said, do this, go to India, okay? Pack the bag and go to India. India, I mean, where am I gonna go in India? Where? Just go. You know, it's like that. So, but they are glorious, but because they love Prabhupada, that is the point. You see. So we are very fortunate that we are not going through those extreme austerity which they have gone through.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear from Anang Manjari, they would go for book distribution and something like that. And it is like where they stayed in the New York, they stayed in some building where it is minus 5, 10, 15 degree temperature, and the windows are open and the snow is coming inside. I mean, imagine the situation. And they go on Harinam in Boston for 12 hours, and in the heavy cold, they're playing the mridanga and their hands are bleeding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, but the whole point is that it's not, they didn't think of that. At that time, they didn't think, oh, my hands are bleeding. They were so absorbed. And when they come home, and when you hear their austerities, when they didn't know how to prepare. I mean, they didn't know actually. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to commit offense here, but they don't know how to prepare dal and all these things. They have dal and because they didn't have money either, they have dal with water and little bit grains in it, and the just is mostly water.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what they did. That's why, but they had one thing. They had the Sunday feast was opulent. Sunday feast was opulent, so they would wait for the Sunday feast. And Sunday feast, they opulent, they eat. And then what some devotees do? Some devotees bag their Sunday feast plate and keep it for next 2 or 3 days. Because in the weekdays they have the simple food. Not like what we have it at present at that time, And they did, I mean, they learned, start making, but in the beginning, they would put so much sugar in the halwa. I mean, my gosh, you ask she can tell you all this. This is what they are gone through. So we are very fortunate that it is already laid out to us. We don't have to go through that much austerity.
Actually, we are actually enjoying the fruits of the labor, actually.
Exactly. But we continue it. We continue what we are doing. Then, our consciousness is to serve the Lord ultimately.
Sometimes I feel that we, the next generation, we are not doing enough, actually. Sometimes I feel that.
Well, that is nice. That is nice humility to think that way, isn't it? It's nice humility to think that way. I'm not doing, and that is what devotee thinks. Devotee always think, I'm not doing enough.
Gopis thought that way too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But Prabhu was also really, really austere in the beginning of the Padayatra. I remember like in the 80s, Padayatra was really austere. I mean, you didn't have any facilities. I remember I did a little bit in 1987 or something like that. And but there was then, on the other hand, there was so much, bliss because it was so austere, and you just went through it, and Krishna gave a lot of bliss, just chanting and.
Yeah, you were in Padayatra, I remember. And Padayatra was a program where, you just move from one day to next day, from one village to another village. There is no station here. You just keep moving. And the program was so nice. I mean, I still remember that program. Program was so nice that in the morning, from the morning to evening, you have no any botheration about, who is going to pay the bills and who is going to take care of it. No, just it's already, will be taken care. Just chant Hare Krishna. And in the every day evening, we have a stage program. Before the stage program, we go out on the Harinam with the deities, and the village people will come and serve prasadam. So it was an every evening big stage program, and the prasad distribution, book distribution. So it was like keep moving, not stagnant, keep moving.
Yeah, it was ecstatic, really. Yeah. I mean, it was transformational also.
Yeah.
You are not the same after that kind of program.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Mother Prabhu has invited me to Vrindavan many times, and I always think about what comforts are there for me before I go.
No, but believe me, now Varjunda Parikrama is the best prasadam. Devotees are joining only for the prasadam sometime now.
About my stay, where I will stay and all the stuff, you know.
Every day, in the morning breakfast is a sweet, and in the evening lunch also is sweet.
Oh,
Or sometimes 2 or 3 sweets.
very different. Oh.
Yes, different now.
Mhm.
Wow. All right, Mataji.
Yeah.
We continue.
Shall we finish at one purport? I don't remember where I stopped.
The material world exists outside the spiritual sky.
Ah, yeah, the material world exists outside the spiritual sky, and the foolish materialist cannot estimate the extent of this material sky. What then can he know of the spiritual sky? Materialists simply believe their imperfect senses and do not take instructions from the revealed scriptures. According to Vedic civilization, one has to see through the authority of the revealed scriptures. Shastra Chakshu. One should see everything through the medium of the Vedic literature. In this way, one can distinguish between the spiritual world and material world. Those who ignore such instructions cannot be convinced of the existence of the spiritual world because they have forgotten the spiritual identity. Such materialists take this material world as the all in all. They are therefore called Bahir Mukha.
Okay.
Okay, Prabhu. I think we can stop at this point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, wonderful.
So
Really enjoyed.
Thank you for engaging me in your service.
in, in my service.
Bhadrababu, we need to do this more often.
Sure. I love
Yes.
I'm thinking maybe we can have temple do this 2 times a week, you know, every week.
whatever you decide. I'm at your service whenever you want.
Because there are a lot of, we have the blessing of a lot of senior devotees in our community, so we can use a lot of their, input.
Sure. Whenever you want, just tell me.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you again engaging for your.
Thank you.
Vanchakalpa-
Kripa Sindhu So please, thank you everyone for coming, and please join us again. We'll see you all tomorrow, the same time, same link. Thank you.
And who's speaking tomorrow? Who is moderating or who's leading tomorrow?
Pundarik Vidyanidhi Prabhu tomorrow, and then Ananga Manjari will come here on Sunday.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hare
You
Krishna.
can come also on that day, Prabhu, and that would be nice.
Enlighten us all.
Yeah, you can let me talk.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.